we are live. Welcome everybody to Tales from the Lounge. I'm Ron.
I'm Rhonda.
And this is our buddy Kevin. Wait a minute. You're not Rhonda.
I'm not Rhonda. I'm filling in. Rhonda's on a cruise, traveling the world. I'm Dustin, and welcome to Tales from the Lounge.
And if you've watched this show regularly, Dustin's been on the show at least one other time, maybe twice. So
it's been a while.
It's been a long while, and I blame you.
I blame both of you.
Good. But Dustin's going to be, Kevin's going to be on the hot seat tonight, and we're doing something weird tonight. We're making old fashions right here on the fly, and actually,
old fashion's good.
I'm going to cheat a little bit, so don't kill me, and we'll explain what we're doing here in just a minute.
The purists are going to hate you.
Yes, they are.
But
yes,
that's okay. But that's okay.
That's okay.
We don't judge here.
Coming from the military, though, I'm not alcohol discriminate. So
no, neither am I.
If it's whiskey, if it's rum, if it's scotch, I don't mind.
We're in the trust tree anyway. Though,
and
right?
I forgot one thing, but that's all right.
Forget?
I forgot my jigger to measure the whiskey.
I can do it for you. It's just like
we can eye it.
We'll eyeball it. Okay.
You do a 4 count.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
All right.
It'll be quite the show.
Also, we're doing something extra special because Kevin here is the unofficial Crux ambassador, and I brought out some
the official unofficial.
Yes, the official unofficial. Kind of like the official unofficial cigar. Not review, but top 25, whatever it is.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I pulled out some old Crux Limitada red lines that have been in my aging humidor since about 2018.
Out of the vault, if you
Wow.
will.
Yeah.
Deep in the vault.
Deep in the vault.
2018?
And I want you to look at this. And this has got the old Crux logos on them. And these are just beautiful, man. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of these.
Which low-key is one of my favorites that we were talking about
earlier. The red line.
Yes.
The red line got me into Crux.
I'm not surprised. And also, if you're... Announcement, everybody. If you buy 3 cigars, the first 3 people that buy 3 cigars gets one of these 2018 Crux Limitada red lines.
2018?
So if you want to grab one...
5-year aging on this.
Yes.
Limited edition.
Yes. So grab a couple of sticks and then, or 3 sticks and come grab one. All right.
But not too many because I'm going to smoke some.
Yeah, we're pulling ours out first.
And the PB5, we were talking about it earlier.
We were talking about that.
The creaminess, the nuttiness, how just beautiful it was. Yes.
What's that? No, it's just the mics.
So yes, we got a lot of background noise because we're in a cigar lab.
Where else would Tales from the Lounge be but a cigar lounge?
It's
exactly.
a party experience.
Exactly.
It's when we come together, enjoy company.
So we're going to real quick play our little intro, then we're going to come back, and I'm going to make the old fashions while you two chat, and then actually no, I'm not. I'm going to come back. I'm going to share out while you two chat. Then I'm going to talk about making the old fashions, and we'll go from there. All right?
Sounds good to me.
It.
All right.
Let's
so
dig it.
let me click a button here. And we're back. Boy, that's a quick 10 seconds.
That was a quick 10 seconds.
So you guys talk about what y'all want to talk about here for a minute.
So I actually have a fun fact, Kevin. I don't know that you realize that we both graduated from the same high school.
I did realize that a little while ago.
10 years apart.
A little while apart.
But I thought that was fascinating that, I grew up in Dallas and someone I had never known, and just through cigars was able to come and, create a friendship that we still had that in the background.
2 Carrollton boys.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic.
That is awesome.
So, and the fact that we are smoking a Crux, I'm super excited about. This is one of those brands that is a classic staple in the humidor. I love the consistency. I love the roundness and the different flavors. So this is going to be a wonderful evening.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever smoked a crux you didn't like?
No.
That's a trick question.
Because there are so many, and I want to try the new one as well. I have not tried that one that just came out, the Habano.
The Habano. It's amazing.
Yes. I've heard great things. That is the next thing that is definitely on my list with the nuttiness and the cocoa flavors. But I think the Limitada and the Bull and Bear by far are some of my favorites.
The Bull and Bear is my all-time favorite. We were talking earlier, and I told Dustin, I said, if someone held a gun to my head and said, you've got to pick one cigar to smoke for the rest of your life, you can never have a different cigar, I would pick the Crux Bull and Bear and not have any buyer's remorse over
No,
that.
none whatsoever. None whatsoever.
None.
And it's really interesting because on paper, it's a strong cigar.
Oh, it's way out of what I normally
Your
smoke.
normal profile.
It's so far out of it. But the way it's strong without being overbearing, and it's so complex, and it's one of those that it doesn't try to knock you on your butt. It's got great flavor. It's just probably one of my all-time favorite cigars by far.
And the thing that I really enjoy about it is that whether you're a coffee drinker or a rum drinker or
Bourbon,
whether it's cool outside in the fall or if it's warmer in this bipolar Texas weather, it's
Enjoy, my brother.
palatable. It's something that you can enjoy. It always has a very positive experience.
absolutely.
It's something that even if it's maybe a newer cigar smoker, that
It's not going to overpower
it's
them.
not going to overpower them.
Exactly.
I can feel confident handing this cigar to somebody and saying, I know that you're going to have an enjoyable experience. And that's one of the things that I like to do when we meet new people in different cigar lounges, having those conversations where, hey,
What are you smoking?
what are you smoking?
Exactly.
That's the great one. Oh, and Ronnie, we've got another one for your offer.
Absolutely.
It's going a lot quicker than we thought.
Thank
we
you
would.
very much.
Absolutely.
Well, no, I want them to come back and be
I
part of the
don't.
show, man.
I don't.
I said only 3.
Okay.
Okay. But you know what? Let me tell you why I did that. Bringing outside cigars to a lounge and not buying something's poor etiquette.
It is.
And since I brought these in for us to smoke, I figured it was only fair to do a little promotion, help them sell a few cigars out of their humidor, and they get a free cigar just to kind of make up for
I think that's
doing
good
that.
form.
Yeah.
That's good form.
I spent a little money here earlier.
No, not you.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Okay.
We're good.
So, let me see here. I got 2 more very quick things
The
to
Red
do.
Line 2018.
Again, this is the one that introduced me to Crux, that got me into Crux, that started my love affair with Crux, if you will.
Yes. I'm not mad at you. And I think the cool thing is, and I don't know if you can see, this is actually the OG labels as well. These
Yes.
are
Wait,
the-
this is the label that really didn't match the brand. when you started looking at these before they changed their marketing, you were thinking, wow, this is some kind of like biker, like badass type.
yeah.
You just weren't really sure what you were getting into at all.
I really like the new classic looking van. It gives it an edge, but still has a vintage feel.
And,
Yep.
and one of the things, and I've said this since they did the relaunch, one of the things that I really like about their new marketing is that with the color coding of the labels, you can walk into a humidor and you look for Crux, and then you say, oh, the blue is the Bull and Bear, the green is the Maduro, the orange is the Maduro, the red is the Connecticut, the black is the Limitada.
Yeah.
You're not looking at this label going, okay, what is this? Okay, It's Crux. Okay, I see that. Okay, it's the red line. It's the Limitada. You just know by the color.
Yep.
And it makes it so much easier to buy it.
Yes, you get that easy association.
Well, and the other thing is they put the profile on the interior of the box lid.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so it's bold. It will give you some of the flavors you should be getting and that type of thing. So it's really a great thing. We got Wesley coming in. We got Larry Adams.
Hey,
Sorry,
Larry.
Rhonda's not here for you, Larry. And John and Blake's in. So
What's up, Blake?
good to see you, Blake. Oh,
Miss you, buddy.
yes, definitely. I saw him we did the show with him last week.
Wednesday,
Yeah, yeah. So it was really good to see him. So what brought up this whole old-fashioned thing was I made a comment a few months back talking about old-fashions is when I go to a new bar, I always order an old-fashioned.
It's kind of the staple.
It's a staple, simple drink. And if the bartender can't make an old-fashioned, I really don't want to make anything else because it's going to be shit. So, you know.
You're not wrong.
So I made that comment, and then I thought to myself, when was the last time I made an old-fashioned?
Okay.
And it had been.
Not mad at that.
It was like 20 years since I made my own old-fashioned. So I pulled up the recipe again and said, what am I missing here? And so I started making my own old-fashions again. I was like, oh my God, I miss this. It's so much easier. But for tonight, I've done a little bit of cheating, but I'm going to tell you real quick how to make an old-fashioned. So first off, you start off with a teaspoon of sugar and a teaspoon of water, and you put it in a glass, and then you put 2 dashes of bitters. And I've got the Angostura or whatever
Angostura?
it is.
Yep.
And
Now, which I like the orange bitters in my old fashions. Which
this is
that
the
just the
aromatic
regular
bitters.
bitter?
This is the regular. The
Okay,
orange
yep.
bitters do have an orange cap with an orange on it.
Right. And I didn't do that because I've got real orange to go. Got real orange. So what?
He's trying to cater to the purists here.
Okay. So what you do is you put that in there. You put a couple of the bitters in there. Then you muddle it. What you want to do is break up the sugar crystals in the water, kind of dissolve it. You know how sugar doesn't dissolve very well, but you want to break that up.
Yeah.
Then you put in 2 ounces of your whiskey. Then
Bourbon.
it's still whiskey, but it's bourbon.
I
So-
like this.
okay.
Keep going.
And then you put in some ice, you stir it up, and then you strain it into a glass like this. Now, I'm cheating tonight because I didn't want to sit here and muddle sugar and water all night.
Right.
So I brought simple syrup.
Okay.
Now, you're looking at this and going, simple syrup, why is it brown? Well, because I use unprocessed cane sugar,
Okay.
and that makes it brown.
Absolutely.
It's not bleached.
Absolutely.
So if you're using simple syrup, instead of 1 of water, you want to do 2 teaspoons of simple sugar, or simple syrup.
And there are so many different combinations. I remember Ryan Megaming and I one time were going online to see different ways. And
There's billions.
there's so many different variations of the traditional.
Right.
I've seen some do 4 dashes of regular bitters, 4 dashes of orange bitters. They do it in a glass to make sure that it's coming up to perfect temperature, and then when they strain it, then it's strained and then it becomes the perfect temperature. I've seen some people only say they want to use clear ice, and I'm like, come on.
Come on,
I mean,
come on.
I get it, but come on.
So
Um,
I forgot my jigger, so we're just going to guess on this. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000.
and I do that same thing. Oftentimes when
1,
you have
1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000,
a large
4,
cube
1,000.
like that, you could bring it up.
Oh
depending
yeah.
on the
Yes.
You know, the
The
size
ice
of your
contact.
glass.
Exactly.
But you're kind of bringing it up to almost the top of that.
And then what you want?
So what kind of cherries are you using this?
I am using cocktail
You're
cherries.
using cocktail cherries.
Yes.
Okay. I've sometimes have seen people use Lusardo cherries, which you can find
yeah.
at your different.
But I like these because
But
I
they're-
make sure I get a little bit of syrup in there,
Absolutely.
which adds
Add a
to
little
the
sweetness.
Yeah.
add a little more sweetness to it. Now,
I like your
here's
style.
here's the kicker.
Uh-oh. We've got a kicker tonight.
Oh, plot twist.
Okay. You want orange. And what you want to do is just take the peel, a little piece of the peel off of the orange.
All right, EMT's on standby.
And unfortunately, my
Look at that.
cutting skills
Ron's
are...
got some skills to pay the bills.
Exactly.
Okay.
What is going on?
What you want to do is you want to bend it in half like this.
Yes.
And what that does is it shoots the oil out of the rind into the glass.
Yeah.
And then slide a little bit of that around there like that, drop it in, and there's your old fashioned.
Expressing the orange to it.
Now, the other cool thing is, a lot of people don't know, that oil is actually flammable. I've seen people that will,
It's very good. Thank you.
that they will, they'll take a match, and when they do that, they'll do that,
Yes.
and it'll flame down into it,
And give some toasted
get some
notes.
toasted notes to it. But I'm
So
not going
what-
to do that tonight.
So what alcohol did you choose for this old fashioned?
I chose the Walcott.
Okay.
I just
Thanks, sir.
discovered this not too long ago, and I made an old fashioned out of it, and I was like, holy crap, this is good.
That is excellent.
And do we know what the proof is for this Wolcott? Oftentimes when you're adding the sweetener, a little bit higher proof above 90 tends to sit a little bit better when you're adding the sweetness of the cherries and the oranges. But 90 proof or below will do, just depending on
It's
people's
90
tolerance.
proof.
90 proof.
Yep.
Okay. So it's going to be in that sweet spot. And we've got another.
You didn't want to walk
taker.
up? All right.
So three cigars.
No.
Earned another limitada of this aged beauty. I'm glad that people took up on the offer because that is an absolute steal.
Absolutely.
I was tempted, even though we were doing a podcast.
Even though we were doing the podcast.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
You'll probably walk out of here with an extra one anyway, but
So did y'all end up? So I ended up going with the straight cut. Y'all ended up going with the V cut.
I V-cut almost everything.
Almost everything.
Almost everything.
you know, this one was borderline. Usually anything this size or smaller, I'll straight cut. Anything
Okay.
bigger, I V cut.
Your V cut.
Yeah.
Okay. And that just usually has to deal with preference on the
Absolutely,
cigar
personal
smoker.
preference.
For a long time, I only straight cut my cigars,
Yep.
and I only lit them with matches to cedar and then cedar to cigar for a long time. I think I've been smoking cigars like 20 years now.
Were you a little OCD on that?
Super OCD. It was like I wanted to be gentlemanly about it and then really just honor the ritual of the cigar.
And there's
and
definitely
there
is a ritual to the cigar.
Oh well, you know, and that's one of the things about the whole cigar culture that I love is everything is. I don't want to say ritualistic, but there is an etiquette that is vital to it that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, the whole fact that you don't stamp the cigar out, you want
Yes.
to let it, you know,
I never stamp
That's a
the
big
cigar
one.
out.
and that's a big one. You know, you want to patronize your shop that you're going to on a regular
Yes.
basis so that they can stay open for you.
Absolutely.
You know, and just little things like that. And you know, and one of my favorite is don't be the loudest person in the room, which you know
That's hard
sometimes
for you, Ron.
I was just about to say I struggle with that sometimes.
You and me both.
No.
One thing
Absolutely.
I do not like is people putting liquids in the ashtrays.
Oh, that
because
drives
it
me
creates
nuts.
this muddy mess.
Or paper.
Or
paper or the cigar wrapper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll
Like,
notice.
there's
You'll
trash
notice.
cans in the lounge.
I
Get
do
up
that
and go
too.
put your wrapper in there.
I put the cigar wrappers underneath.
And I want you to look how brown that paper is on there.
Which
It's got
is-
some aging.
which is
That just
beautiful.
shows the aging.
So when
Exactly.
you have cellophane, or you purchase a cigar and it has cellophane and it's brown, your cigar's not rotten. It's not bad.
No. Not
at
That
all.
means
No.
the oils from the cigar have actually seeped through the wrapper and have coated that inside of that cellophane, and it means the cigar is ready to smoke.
Let me squeeze
I
through
really
here real
appreciate
quick,
that
just a
aspect.
second.
You gonna do the dance?
Oh.
Look at this. Okay.
We're a hair out of focus.
We're unsupervised now.
Unsupervised.
Oh, that's scary.
Let me
But
squeeze by here
having
just a
a
second.
whiskey
We're just a
any
hair
kind
out
of
of
spirit,
focus and it's driving me
having a
nuts.
cigar is something that is near and dear to my heart.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, when I got started back, early 2000s, it was kind of a coming of age. You know, my father gave me my
There we
first
go.
cigar. It was the 1964 anniversary Maduro, and he goes, "I'm going to set the bar."
And he did.
And he did.
And he did.
And for me, you get the boldness of that Maduro and that pepper bomb, the Ligero, the first quarter inch, and then it opens up to this creamy, wonderful goodness. And it was this awakening that I had.
Right.
What was your first experience like when you know?
So, like yours, mine was with my dad. Unfortunately, it wasn't something as great as a Padron 64. The first time I smoked a cigar with my dad, I think it was about 14.
Wow.
And we went fishing, and we were smoking Swisher Sweets. And
Okay.
I was told, if I told my mom, I was probably never going to breathe again.
Oh, really?
And that was kind of my first experience with it. And then I really didn't mess around with cigars again until probably about 95, 96. And I had some friends that smoked cigars, and I was like, you know, I kind of enjoyed smoking cigars back with my dad, and of course I didn't have a good reference point because I was smoking Swisher Sweets, and so they kind of got me into smoking some regular, not Swisher Sweet cigars, and that just kind of got me on that path, and it's been a path I've been on ever since.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
Ron, do you know your first cigar or what your first
absolutely.
experience was like? What was
Yeah.
that like for you?
Well, I actually started smoking a pipe
Really?
about 7 years, close 7.5 years ago.
Okay.
I was in San Francisco on a job, and it was just shit. I mean, I had such a horrible day, and I'd always wanted to smoke a pipe because I thought I love the smell of pipe tobacco, and I thought it'd be cool to collect the pipes. I collect a lot of stuff, or at least I have in the past. And so I went down to a little tobacconist shop, bought a pipe and some tobacco, and I'm sitting there playing with it in their lounge late one evening, and next thing I know, a guy goes, "Hey, you want some bourbon?" I said, "Well, yeah." And then we get to talking, and I'm sitting here relaxing and drinking, and I'm like, this is where I need to be. And so for about 6 months, I smoked a pipe. And then I decided I was going to try a cigar, and my first cigar was a Monte Cristo No. 2.
Okay.
That's a good one to
That
start
is a
with.
good one.
Well, the only reason I knew about it was from a scene from How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Barney and Kelly, was that her name?
I believe so.
He took her to a cigar lounge, and he ordered his cigar, and she told the guy she wanted a Monte Cristo No. 2, which impressed Barney.
Right.
And then she explains, my dad smoked cigars, and I did that with him, and that's where I learned about cigars. And so when I went in, the only thing I knew was Monte Cristo No. 2, and that's what I had. So I got off to a good start.
You did get off to a good start.
And the fact that you started with pipes is commendable, because that's
Well,
a whole nother set of rituals.
And I was-
It's
oh, yeah.
completely
passing.
different thing.
And I still smoke a pipe from time to time. But you know, I had not smoked anything ever until I started smoking that pipe. And I was 49 years old at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I joke with people.
So you're 50 now?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's 27 times 28.
Oh, okay.
I'm 56. And thank God I don't look it.
Not at all. Not
But
at all.
you know, my uncle smoked Camels, unfiltered, from the age of 12.
Couldn't do it.
At 75, they diagnosed him with lung cancer.
Did he stop smoking?
No. Died 2 years later, still smoking. My father has smoked regular cigarettes, filtered cigarettes, since he was 15. And he's 76 now and has no lung issues. And I've joked that, you know, if it takes me 75 years for lung cancer to set in, I'll be, 130 before I got to worry about anything.
No.
You're good to go, bro. You're good to go.
And I'm not even inhaling these.
Exactly.
And that's a big misconception, though. I've actually never had cigarettes, never smoked anything else. Really, cigars have been the enjoyment of what I like to get into.
Yep.
But with the cigar, there's actually more nicotine than a cigarette.
A little
But
bit,
it,
yeah.
but it's not absorbed into your bloodstream in the same way because you're not bringing it into your lungs.
Correct.
It's meant to be, excuse me, tasted, and it's a palate feel, but there's no chemicals. It's 100% natural.
Natural.
Tobacco.
There's no additives like cigarettes and
There's no tar. There's no of
No.
the bad stuff.
But
Yep.
the artistry that comes behind getting a cigar is incredible.
Yep.
I mean, there was a project a number of years ago called 300 Hands.
Yep.
Technically, a cigar has gone through 300 hands to create this, enjoyable experience.
Yep.
From when it's
From
a seed,
planting to
watering,
yep,
to
from-
growing, to the curing barn, and then oftentimes you have 3 different parts to the cigar, right? You've
Right.
got the filler, the binder, and the wrapper.
Right.
In different ratios, different sizes.
and it's all like cooking,
It
They're
is.
they're trying to come up with a great formula, a great recipe.
Well,
And some of them hit the mark and some of them don't.
I think we were at the same event, and I don't remember if we were or not, but Edgar
Yes.
Yes.
Osa did kind of a soup to nuts
Yep.
of the process of a tobacco leaf
Yes.
going from being planted, being harvested, to being aged, the different things that they do with the wrapper versus the filler. And
It's amazing.
I mean, I think that guy knows more about tobacco than I'll forget more than he knows.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's been such a pleasure through this cigar experience getting to meet not only different shop owners, but different blenders, different cigar line owners.
Exactly.
To see,
Exactly.
okay, you've made this cigar or these different cigars. What's your story? I'm always fascinated about people's stories
Yep.
of how they come to blend or choose the regions of tobacco that they do, and what they're trying to express through the flavors of that tobacco that they're using.
Exactly.
What I think a lot of casual smokers don't understand about cigars in general is that the cigar itself really is a work of art.
It is.
There's so much that goes into that to get to what we're doing today. And the science behind it, the man hours it takes to get the blend right, to get the aging right, to choose which specific leaf to use for a specific blend. The science behind it is as mind-boggling to me as quantum physics.
Yep.
Yes. And
Yep.
to me, the people who have been in this space for so long, the second and third generation, blenders who grew up in the field, their innate ability to taste distinctions
Yep.
in the plant, right? So as the plant grows, there's different levels. The bottom third is, you're going to have your viso, the middle is going to be your seco, and then your top is the lajero.
Yep.
And based on water, based on components and nutrients in the soil, sunlight, and humidity, gives you different textures, gives you different flavors, profiles.
Exactly.
And it is absolutely fascinating. And then even to that extent, seeing how the flavor can change during the fermentation process. Because product can be just capitalized as efficiently as it can or lost during that fermentation period.
Well, and that's Nelson commented on that not too long ago, because he ages his tobacco so long, it's almost like a crapshoot. You let it age for 8 years. How much has it changed over that 8 years? And is your blend completely shit now?
Right.
And you've been sitting on $1 million worth of tobacco for 8 years, waiting to produce a phenomenal stick, and then pray that it comes out okay, so that you just can't flush it down the drain.
But he's like the Wolfgang Puck. He is like
Him,
a maestro
him
of
and
tobacco.
him and Luciano.
Him and Luciano. Because when they are creating these blends out of vitola size and they're smoking it, in Mexico they call them holochos. They'll take different components, light them, and smoke them together.
Yes.
And it creates this symphony of flavors. But they're really thinking, what is this going to smoke like after it has aged? So they're
Yep.
not only tasting it now, but they're knowing the chemical breakdown process of that fermentation and aging period.
Yep.
It's incredible.
It is.
It's so far beyond anything I can comprehend.
It really is.
I mean, at the end of the day, just like you said, to be able to take a raw component and smoke it, and then say, oh, well, if I blend it like this, I age it for this long, I think I'm gonna have a badass cigar.
Right.
Yep.
And to be right more than you're wrong,
I mean,
that's saying something.
That's saying something. That's skill right there. So in this limitada, I'm noticing that this is more of a box press, right? Some
Yes.
are rolled and they're not going to go into a mold. This one has gone through a mold. Do you gentlemen have a favorite vitola or size that you tend to gravitate to for your?
Well, jokingly, I like them big, but you know, I don't. I'm trying to remember what I was smoking the other day, but I smoked something and I made the offhand comment that was almost too big, and the deal is, I had trouble sealing off the whole thing with my lips to get a good draw on it. And I was like, if it was 2 more centimeters bigger, I probably wouldn't have been able to smoke it.
Like the Texan.
Yeah, it was probably a 60 or a 62 ring gauge.
Wow.
Like, holy
That's not
shit.
that big.
Well, for my little mouth,
I tend to like the Corona or the Corona Gorda. I usually am a little bit of a slower cigar smoker. I don't typically drink a whole lot. But
I make up for it.
But I do like making the pairings of it, right?
Yep.
But when you have a good, Corona Gordo, I think you get more of that, that 33 ratio of binder wrapper filler, because you do get most of your flavor in the wrapper and the binder, right?
Right.
So when you have some of the larger cigars, even if it's the same,
it takes
blend,
away from the wrapper.
It'll taste different.
Yep.
It might be smoother or not as complex. It might fall off.
Well, Wesley has chimed in and he says, first off, only 2 ounces. So, hey, for an old fashioned.
2-ish.
Now wait a minute. If you're making a double, just pour 4. But you're going to want an extra cherry and an extra
Couple extra shakes of bitters.
shakes of bitters and the water and sugar mixture. Also, he wants to know. He mentioned that Snookered has a 10-year-old fashioned on menu. Well, I'm curious what Wesley, what whiskey are they or bourbon are they using that is aged 10 years on that? Now, one of the cool things about that Wolcott, it's a $30 bottle.
Okay.
It's a great $30 bottle.
Yeah.
And you had some of it
I
straight.
did. I had some straight.
And like I said, it was phenomenal. I was like, holy shit, for $30,
Yeah,
it was well
solid.
worth it. Oh yeah.
I like it. It's smooth. It's got hints of caramel notes to it.
Yep.
That kind of come through the orange.
And which helped the old fashioned.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I definitely
And
enjoy
also
it.
he says, how did we like the Habano? How did you like the Habano? I know you haven't had one yet.
It is on my list.
I had one
I'm gonna
last
have
night.
one, yeah.
In fact, I got a little chastised. Luciano was in, and I wasn't smoking a Luciano. I was smoking that Habano. And my God, that thing was good. Oh.
Yes, and it was a pleasure getting to meet up with him again.
Oh yeah.
We're always, it's like seeing family every time
Yep.
you meet those guys.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I love the Habano. I've smoked a few pre-release samples, if you will. Being the official, unofficial brand ambassador does have some perks.
Sam slipped you a little something, huh?
I
Shout out,
cannot
Sam Ventura.
I cannot confirm or deny where I got said samples, as you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Oh, damn, Skippy.
But
But you know what? Jeff Hogan would have also given you one if you'd asked him.
Jeff or Casey.
Either one of them.
Absolutely. The Habano is awesome. Probably up to my second favorite crux.
Next to the Bull and
being
Bear.
released less than 6 days.
Well, and the other funny thing is, it's fitting that you're here, okay? And Dustin both, because Rhonda's not here, so I had to get somebody better looking than I was, so I got Dustin.
That's not setting the bar high.
And then I got no, it's not. Then I had to get somebody who was a complete Crux fan like Rhonda, and I got Kevin.
There you go. There you go.
So you got the best of
It
three
took
worlds.
it took 2 people to replace Rhonda.
Oh.
I I don't know that even we can do that.
Yeah.
Rhonda's kind of an experience all upon herself.
Yes, she is.
She is.
Yes, she
Love you,
is.
sis. Hope you're
We
having a
love
great
you,
time.
Rhonda.
And I hope you're having a good trip. She
Absolutely.
texted. She got into a port the other day and texted me. I got Wi-Fi for just a little bit. What are you doing? Yeah.
I told her that were they ready for it down there? She said Miami ain't ready for me.
No.
Oh no.
No.
And I sure hope she got to go down to Little Havana while she was down there. But nobody else that went with her smoked cigars. So
Really?
yeah, and so she joked she had already tracked down that level 5 had the smoking area,
That's good.
and she says, if you want to find me, I'll be on level 5.
That's the way
And
to
this
do
was
it.
like
Scavenger
Monday.
hunt.
She left. She got on the boat Sunday. She got into a port Monday, and I said, "Well, how many cigars did you smoke?" 3. I said, "You're behind.
Yeah.
Right.
Smoke more. Drink
Yes,
more."
exactly.
And to that point, are you gentlemen more of like a 2 cigar a day? Do you smoke every day?
I don't
What is
smoke
that
every
kind of-
day.
Okay.
And there will be, depending on the situation, there may be weeks that I only smoke on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday because I'm, doing something cigar related, either with me, Tales from the Lounge or Industrial.
Or one of the other
Yep.
podcasts, yeah.
And but let me tell you something funny. Monday they had a Father's Day get together at the apartment complex that I live in.
Okay.
And I live in a 55 plus active adult community, and a bunch of old people, and several of them. And
Just leveled up.
and I had one of my cigar and gun T-shirts, and one of the girls goes, "You like cigars?" "Oh, I love cigars. I do the live stream." "Oh, I love cigars." And there's a lot of people in that complex that are cigar smokers.
Okay.
So I'm already talking to the event coordinator down there that Tales from the Lounge is going to take a bunch of people from that apartment complex, and about once a month we're going to go hit a cigar lounge, a bunch of us, and kick back,
That's fantastic.
drink and
That is-
smoke
that's
and
awesome.
have fun.
That is awesome, Lauren.
Oh,
Because it doesn't matter, well, of age 21, but other than that, it doesn't matter what your age is to find that camaraderie. right?
Exactly,
To find that
exactly.
fellowship. Because this just brings people together.
and one of the women that hit me up, she says, I had a little tin of cigars that she smoked 30 years ago,
Wow.
and she still got what's left. She only had 3 left, and she, I don't know what to do with them or anything. I said, let me have them. If they're not broken or anything, I'll put them back in my humidor
Rehydrate them.
and rehydrate them. In about a month, they ought to be fine. And so she gave those to me today.
Did you freeze them first? Or are you gonna freeze them first?
No. They should be fine after because they haven't done anything in 30 years.
I would probably freeze them first.
Why is that?
That kills any insects that might be in there from them being set out for so long.
You would figure by 30 years they'd been ate up by now.
You would think, but if you put them in the freezer for 24 hours, that kills
you know what?
anything.
I think I'll do that then.
And then you bring them back up to you.
Better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And the other cool thing is, they're Macanudos, little
Oh,
Macanudo cigarellos.
Okay, real quick, I want to touch on what you're talking about. Some of the users might not know. So when you get cigars from other countries, sometimes if it's not from a retailer that is reputable, if you bring them in from out of country, there could be what's called tobacco weevils.
And let me add on to that. Or if you're ordering stuff online and getting
Yes.
them, anything you get in online, I don't care where you're getting it from, put them in the freezer for 24
Put
hours.
them in the freezer for 24 hours. What this does is, if there happen to be any tobacco weevils that had gotten into any of those cigar blends or those boxes, it will make sure that it kills them. Now, it's not going to really taint the cigar experience, but you will know if there are, you will see little holes within the cigar.
Yes.
That means that the weevils or the beetles have gotten to them. You probably don't want to smoke that cigar for health reasons, but it is
Oh,
important.
no.
It's
Go
important.
ahead, freeze them.
Freeze them,
And then put them in the humidor. When they come back up, go ahead and smoke them. It's just a little Ranger spice.
In the sweet spot, they say 72 and 72, right? 72 degrees if you can. I don't know if you can do that in Texas. 72% humidity.
And to be honest, those are only rough guesstimation numbers.
Yes.
Don't get all hung up on,
True.
oh, they got to be 72 degrees. My humidor is at 73 and I'm panicking. Don't worry about it. As long as it's between 65 and 75, don't worry about it.
I tell people to be more concerned about the humidity than the temperature.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially in this bipolar Texas weather.
Absolutely.
Yes. And if you're in Texas, keep them in a cool spot out of the sun.
Out of the sun.
Away
From a window.
And if you have a travel humidor, don't leave the son of a bitch in your car in the middle of fucking summer.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
When your car gets 132 degrees and your travel humidor is 155,
Ain't good.
you're doing bad things to your cigars.
Ain't good.
The humidity might be okay,
But the temperature
the
is just
temperature
horrible.
is a little extreme.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
Here's the thing that really scared me into remembering freezing cigars. So Ron and I had the privilege of traveling to Havana, Cuba. We went to Miami, up into Veracruz, Mexico with Edgar. And when you travel and you bring back cigars, at one of the shops that I frequent, you want to put stuff in your locker. And I was told by policy, if any of my cigars had weevils and they spread to any of the lockers, I would have to pay to replace everybody's cigars, which
Yes.
was well over $1 million. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, no, thank you. I will
Thanks,
make
but no thanks.
I will make sure I do my due diligence so that there's no issues.
And it's a simple problem. And people will say, don't freeze them because the humidity, blah, 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 and the dry air and all this other neat shit. You know what? You only put them in there for 24, even 48 hours, and you're putting them into a humidor. Leave them in there a couple of weeks and they'll be fine.
You
They're
can
not
always-
as fragile as you think they
You
are.
can always bring, unless something is extremely dry, you can always bring humidity back up on a cigar.
So Wesley said he left him in his
Adriana
golf bag.
says hi.
And then
My
Steven said
fiance.
know.
he left them in his
I mean-
car for months and took them out and they were fine. That's just because you're a G, Steven. Ice in the veins, they stay cool.
Exactly.
I got no other explanation.
And I'll tell you why I say they're not as fragile as you think they are, is because of Oliver.
Right.
One Christmas, Oliver comes in and he brought in a box of cigars, and he said, I used to live in Vegas and I used to buy up old collections of cigars and resell them to people in Vegas who were looking for something a little different. And we get to looking at the box. He says, I can't sell these because they don't have bands on them, so we're just giving them away. And he gives me one, and we get to looking at the box, and the cigars are 132 years old.
Older than you.
Jeez.
By a long shot.
Some
Okay.
pre-embargoes? I mean, geez.
I mean, pre-Cuba almost.
Yeah.
I mean, pre-Castro for damn sure. But I smoked that cigar, and that was probably the best cigar experience I've ever had in my life.
So it's interesting too, when you have a cigar that has some age, I don't know if y'all have noticed, I've definitely noticed through my journeys, you can taste the antiqueness,
Yes.
the age on the cigar.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's
The
almost,
oils have kind of disseminated through the
it's
tobacco.
not only
the
super
blend.
smooth, but it has that hint of an antique bookstore.
It does. It really does.
I knew,
And every time
I knew as soon as I said that, your eyes were
every
going to
time
light up.
I think of that, it's like I think of Ron Burgundy from Anchorman. It's like, I've got many leather-bound books, smell of rich mahogany. Like, that's immediately what I think of every time I get that flavor experience from an older age cigar.
Yeah. Yep.
That you really can't duplicate. You can't take a shortcut around.
No, you cannot
No.
take a shortcut
To get
around
that.
that.
No.
Well, and that's why Nelson's stuff, aged 12 to 14 years,
Yes.
is so smooth, and all of the bite that you might get from an unfermented or not completely fermented cigar is just not there. I
Yeah.
mean, just
because
it's-
if you do get a cigar that is younger in age, that maybe have not been finished in their or properly
fermented.
it will continue to ferment after it's blended and rolled.
Exactly.
And so if you get that mineral taste, like you just licked a 9
No.
volt battery, it's
Before
not
you
good.
get that far, if you pick up a cigar and smell it, and you smell any ammonia whatsoever,
Yes.
Rest
put it down.
Put it
Rest
down.
it.
Put it down and let it rest.
Yes.
Because you will get physically sick from smoking that cigar. And
It
that
will
is
not
a
be
good
an
feeling.
enjoyable experience,
No.
to say the least.
So,
No, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was
Finish your
gonna
thought.
say, and if you ever do find yourself where you're feeling like the nicotine's hitting you, maybe you're a little bit lightheaded, or you're feeling a little bit of an upset stomach, my recommendation for a newer cigar smoking individual is have a piece of chocolate. Like have a little bit of sugar that will cut that nicotine feel, or a sip of Coca-Cola or something like
Yep.
that to kind of right yourself.
Well, I smoked Placencia Amafuente the other day, and it was early in the morning. And in fact, I smoked it in the car on the way to the office.
Right.
When I got to the office, I was like, I'm almost high, man. And I wasn't arguing at all.
So that's a good segue. So, in your experiences with the different seasons, do you find yourself having cigars more in the morning, or more like an after dinner evening with the cocktail kind of?
I don't do it all the time. And there for a while I was doing it fairly often, but because I've got an hour-long commute to work, I could have a cigar in my car on the way to work.
Okay.
And so I would do that fairly often. But I also kind of drive Uber on the side, so I don't do that a lot now because I have to clean the car up afterwards so that the cigar smoke's not all permeated in my car and everything. That's shy pain in the ass, too much work. So I go through phases of like,
You go through phases?
fuck it, I'm going to smoke a couple of cigars in here and I'll clean it up later. And if I need to drive Uber, and if not, fuck it.
Yeah. Are you more of a morning or an evening?
I probably don't generally smoke cigars till after lunch.
Okay.
I'm not a big like first thing in the morning
With your coffee
with
type deal.
it doesn't sound good to me until now. There's been different occasions where I have done that, but we're talking the 90% of the time.
Right.
It's not till afternoon usually.
I'm not a big coffee person actually. If I do, it's a little cream and sugar. But I really like
Pussy.
smoking. I really like smoking coffee.
I'm such a basic bitch coffee drinker.
Smoking cigars and
Shut up,
drinking
Adriana.
coffee on the patio when it's cool, like early fall, early winter, is like I really enjoy that. If not, in the evenings. Sometimes I'll have a cigar at like 11 o'clock at night.
Well,
And it's like
Absolutely.
winding down from the day.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about work.
To me, it's such a distressor. It's such
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, but see, I'm going into work, so there's my stress.
Well, absolutely.
He's putting his armor on.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm like,
You're-
God damn it,
you're-
what am I doing?
You're pre-de-stressing,
That's it.
basically. But yeah, for me, I tend to smoke like you,
Yeah.
more after work. There's no such thing as for me too late for a cigar.
I agree.
There's absolutely been times I've gone out. Obviously lounges are generally closed 10 or 11. I'll go out on my back patio
Oh.
at 11:30 at night.
Hey, Chris.
light a cigar.
Chris,
I love
what time y'all
it.
close? All right.
During the week they close at 9.
During the week they close at 9. Wesley asked that earlier and I forgot.
Yes.
What's it?
And I did want to shout out Viso to Austin.
I absolutely-
who
Austin and
created
Chris.
this. So I actually met Austin when he was working in the Colony for another retail
CI.
company.
Yep.
And
We can
super
say
nice
names
guy.
here. We don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just being respectful. But super nice guy. And I would
Oh,
run
he's
into
super.
him and we kept in touch via social media. And I like seeing the types of cigars that other people are smoking as well.
Yep.
Because I do have a lane, but as I've grown in my experience, I kind of choose the cigar for the evening, kind of like what I want for dinner or the clothes I'm going to wear for the day. I always change it up
Right.
across different lines. But
I wish I was that bougie.
Well,
Bull and bear. Just kidding.
It's not
No,
uncommon
not
for
really.
me to mix a drink, go out onto, well, it used to be a porch, now it's a balcony, go out on the balcony, bring my Bluetooth speaker, put on some music, and chill for a couple hours.
Is there really anything more relaxing than
No.
a cigar, a cocktail, and some music?
No, absolutely fucking not. I don't care what anybody says.
And the thing
They're liars.
And the thing is, it can be relaxing in a state like this, or just like you said on your patio, in like complete silence with nature, or just, with some music. And it's like all the stresses of the world for that
Just
period
melt.
of time
Just melt away.
melt away.
And I think I've done a good job if I have to stumble into the house because I've had too much whiskey or scotch.
Or martinis. You make a good gin martini.
I do make a good gin martini. I've impressed a lot of people with that little gin martini of mine.
Yes, sir.
I remember the last crawfish roll that we did at your house,
Yeah.
and I made one and had a couple of people try it and was like, oh my God, go make me one.
What
I
is
think
that?
I made like 6 or 7 of them, man.
And the fact that I actually have martini glasses was kind of a surprise to some people. They were like, "What's going on?"
Oh, that's. Listen, if you're going to have a stocked bar and you're going to have a stocked glassware, martini glasses are a must.
For sure.
I mean,
For sure.
hell, you may just put ice cream or something in them, but you got to have them,
And here's the thing:
I have bourbon and bourbon glasses.
bourbon and bourbon glasses. Yeah, I like that.
Now, you have bourbon glasses, but do you have something to make a highball?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
My lovely fiance has been known to drink wine. And
So you have a couple of wine glasses.
No, she doesn't use them.
Oh, okay. She just drinks out of the bottle, huh?
No, she doesn't drink out of the bottle. She's got a couple of cups that are designated wine drinking cups. But no, the first time,
Well, I know what.
probably gonna get in trouble.
I know what you're getting for a wedding gift.
Well, she won't use them.
I don't care.
The first time she came over, I was like, I got out. She asked for a bottle of wine, so I went and got her a bottle of wine. And I'm pulling out a glass, and she goes, "What's that for?" I was like, "Well, I'm gonna pour your wine into a glass." She goes, "Just give me a cup."
Oh, goodness.
I was like, "All right,
That's a
No,
key.
oh, now
that's
wait a
the
minute.
one for me."
That's a
Now wait a
key.
minute. Was it a red Solo cup?
No,
Okay.
Just-
Okay.
It's just a container to hold the.
just a container to hold the.
It's a delivery system.
Exactly.
That's it.
It wasn't about being bougie. She's probably gonna blow me up in the comments now, but that's okay.
That's all right. It's all in love,
I'm
man.
definitely
Exactly.
bougie.
And speaking of, one of the cool things is, how long have the three of us known each other?
Good.
I mean, shit.
2018.
It's got to be
at least 5 years.
five or 6
At least
years.
5.
Yeah.
And you guys have been part of the relationships that I cherish with this right here. It's just phenomenal how easy it is to get along with somebody who's just there to relax.
And it's so interesting too.
No
'cause
drama.
When you go to different cigar lounges and you build these relationships, you get to know the person, the man or the woman, and you learn about their life, what they're into, the liquors that they enjoy, and we don't really bring up religion or politics or even what people do.
Well,
for work.
occasionally we do, but by the time we do that, we've been friends for so long,
Right.
it's not a big deal.
Like, I didn't even know what Kevin did until like earlier today. And I thought you would get a crack out of this. We're all kind of in the IT space.
I thought he was a hitman.
But just being in the IT space, and having that level of, cybersecurity or dealing with that, oftentimes is high stress environment and high risk and high stakes. So
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to take a step away and just be.
Oh,
It's
and
awesome.
my job isn't stressful because the work's hard. It's because I'm dealing with stupid people all the fucking time. And it get, and to example today, I had to tell a guy, stop clicking on shit. I was remoted into their system and tried to help him with something, and I kept saying, click on this. And he clicked on something entirely different, and then click on something else. And click. No, go back. Listen, you need to follow my instructions. Only click when I tell you to click.
Yeah.
And I was,
That's when you just do the remote desktop and just say stop touching shit.
Oh,
well,
dear.
no, I don't want to do that because I don't want to get into a habit of that. Because if I get into the habit of that,
then that's the experience.
that's the experience,
So
the
we got a question.
expectation.
Wesley's got a good question. So
No,
when I do start a cigar later in the evening, the first thing that I tell people is the cigar is your experience. So if you choose to finish the cigar, that's your ride. There have been times I've had a cigar and I did not like it. I would put it down immediately and go purchase another cigar. But oftentimes I do finish it. If I'm smoking like a Corona or a Robusto, I know that that's about the 1.5 hour mark for me. I could probably stretch a Robusto or a Toro to 2 hours.
I've smoked a Crux Bull and
Bull and
Bear
Bear.
double Corona
Yeah.
for about 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Which is good. One of the things that I really like doing is getting a group of friends together. I've got a man cave at the house, and we'll watch a movie, right? So if you're watching a good movie, you know
What was the last movie you watched over there?
Oh man, I don't even remember.
We need movies, a movie theater that allows cigars.
That's if I won the lottery, I was literally talking with someone this weekend that's what I would open. A movie theater where you can have good classic movies.
And a cigar.
And a cigar, right? Because to have the filtration, but to still have the ambiance and the
Yep.
experience
Of a theater.
of a
See,
theater.
and I want a cigar lounge, pool hall,
Okay.
and darts.
And darts. Okay.
Yep.
I could see
The
that.
funny thing is, so
And not a low end dive,
right.
because I've been there. But I want something a little high end where you have cocktail waitresses wandering around
Okay.
in short skirts, and and I get to do all the interviewing.
So
And
you want Hooters with full
Oh, my
tables and
no,
darts.
Hooter girls are too young for me, man. I can't do that.
But no, what I was gonna say is, the funny thing is, Chris, which is Austin's part-timer in Austin, has
And he's
talked
going to be on the
about-
show next week.
Okay.
Awesome. Have talked about a dartboard here and doing darts here.
Interesting.
Where would you put it? That's the only problem.
No idea.
My job is not logistics.
The problem is there's really not a good place. And to be honest, I joke that I want dartboard, blah, blah, blah. But because of the floor space it requires, it's really not practical because you're paying for space.
Right.
And because of the square footage that you have to have for a dartboard and all that regulation, all that. I used to be in a dart league, and actually I started a beginner's dart league in Tyler, Texas, and had a bunch of people, and we had a great time. But dartboards are a novelty, not a moneymaker.
Gotcha.
So pool tables, on the other hand, you can make some money off of that. So.
Different story.
But I want something where you're liable to seat, and I hate to reference the place because it's really not their deal, but I want something kind of like Industrial has as far as clientele goes, that would do pool tables, and you'd have football players and that type of thing come in and have a good evening,
Well,
and restaurant, bar and all that other stuff.
Laura Miller screwed that up
I know.
when she banned smoking in Dallas, because there were actually places
I
where
know.
you could do stuff like that before Laura Miller.
Well, Irving's done the same fucking thing. Rhonda, one of Rhonda's favorite places was Hourglass in Irving, and the owner loved Rhonda, and they allowed smoking in their bar, and we could go
Who
out
doesn't
there.
love Rhonda though?
Everybody does. But you could go out there and smoke a cigar, play pool and dance floor and drinks and all that. And then Irving came down and locked down on them, says no smoking at all.
Oh wow.
And now nobody wants to go to Hourglass anymore. So, and they're hurting businesses so bad over stupid shit.
But to finish answering Leslie's question, yes, I normally finish it if I smoke in the evening. If I choose to cut the cigar, I will cut it above the cherry. So I'll ash it, I'll make sure I know that I'm down, and I'll cut it probably, I don't know, half an inch, so that I've got most of the ash out. if I'm in the patio, I'll set it down. I don't really worry about humidity. I do not put it in my humidor.
No, that's the
smoke
absolute
ash
worst thing to do.
will ruin your humidor, or put it back in a case. You can put it in a Ziploc bag. But I make sure that if I choose to go back to it, it's within 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
If not, it's kind of a lost cause.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is just walk away.
Yeah.
And I hate to be bougie about that because I'm really not a bougie person.
You
But
bougie motherfucker.
I'm not bougie at all. But, you know, unless it was something extremely rare where something came up and I just couldn't finish it,
Right.
I'm just going to walk away and call it a day.
And and there have been situations that I've run into where I was smoking something, I got about halfway through, and just either ran out of time or patience and decided I'm just going in and I'll just leave it, and I don't worry about cutting it off and leaving it, And I know I'm wasting a little bit of money, but
it depends, because sometimes the
But-
back half will be tight, or
But I also-
all right.
I also love to play this game with myself, and it's okay.
It's still smokable.
No. I'm looking at this stick right here, and then I'm looking at this glass, and it's empty, and I'm like, how much do I need to pour to finish this shit off?
Oh my god. He's a monster.
Ron is a wild man.
He's a monster. Oh,
I'm all about timing and everything, and I'll tell myself, I'm gonna finish this stick and I'm done, and I keep pouring a little bit of whiskey in there or scotch in there till I'm done. I'm like, okay. I want to finish them up together, man.
I respect that. I respect that.
I mean,
And then if you pour too much, you got to let another cigar.
Hey, listen. And I joked with Dave about this over at Industrial, because they've seen me drink, and I pour a little bit of ice in my coffee because I don't sip anything. I gulp it, even my whiskey, and I'm like, Dave, you see me drink. I don't sip anything.
Moderation is not your thing.
Moderation is not my thing. I'm go for the gusto, buddy. There goes a phrase you probably hadn't in a while.
I've been drinking a lot of whiskey. I did get a couple new bottles recently, but I've actually, on a bougie kick, I've been on a tequila and wine with a cigar. I really like
No.
different things.
Austin, which is the owner of ESO, he got into tequila about, I want to say 6 months or so ago. And he's been big on pairing a lot of the Blanco tequilas with cigars.
Yes.
And his knowledge of pairing the two, I would put on par with anyone in the area.
That's
and let me add to that. Don't be afraid to experiment with shit.
No.
Play with it.
For sure.
Pick up a cigar and say, what would taste good with this? Because that's half
Pick
the
up some
fun.
booze and say what would go good with it.
Exactly. There's no wrong answer to that.
No.
It's all about taste, and it's all about enjoying yourself. And if you enjoy drinking Bud Light and smoking a cigar, go fuck yourself.
Well, whether you want to drink chocolate milk in cigars,
Which is good in the morning. It's super good.
I've actually heard the same thing.
Yes.
Or
that's for Pennington.
Yes.
but I've
And fuck Pennington too.
Ron said it, not me.
But here's the thing. So I've heard different people have different views on pairing. Some people are more sensational smokers. They like the no pun intended, but the feel of the type of smoke that comes, whether it's velvety or effervescent, whether it's full body or not, and they only can taste the stronger profiles. And there's some people, I'm a super nerd when it comes to this. I'm picking out certain aspects.
Because you're an ex-bartender.
I was. I wanted to like.
And I almost made you make the old fashions.
This is the best drink I didn't have to make today. I mean.
Now that's not saying a whole lot because you probably haven't had anything to drink yet. No, you had a margarita.
Since
We
he
had a
opened
margarita.
since he opened up a Diet Coke and poured it over ice, that's the best drink he's had today.
But no, but like a low-key bucket list is I kind of wanted to become an entry-level sommelier with wine to see if I had the chops. And when I smoke a cigar, I like smoking with intention, identifying different profiles from different blends, from different vitola sizes, because it's almost like a puzzle game, like Tetris to me.
And when you're done, I got a comment. Go ahead.
No, it's just fascinating because if you are new and you identify something, and you eat a certain something or you drink a certain whiskey, scotch, coffee, it can change the pH in your palate, which changes your experience. So if you don't like a cigar and you had it at a certain time of day with something, wait a little bit. Maybe try it another day with some cheeses or some water.
And you know,
Well, and I've had some friends that went to like Chamberlain's in Addison. Had a steak dinner and then smoked a cigar and said they didn't like it. And I was like, that's a great cigar. And like you said, they smoked at a different time when they didn't have steak.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, that was a good cigar. But it was just because the chemical balance of what they had before it.
Right.
You don't realize how much that impacts. Like eating chocolate before you smoke a cigar.
Yes.
That can have a big impact on the cigar.
Yes.
What you drink before you smoke a cigar can have
or
a
what
big
you
impact.
do. In fact, Blake wrote a brilliant article that's on my Tales from the Lounge webpage about an experience he had where somebody recommended a great cigar to him, and he smoked the cigar, but instead of smoking the cigar, he was in his garage working on fishing lure stuff.
Shocking.
And no, definitely. So he finished it up, and he told his buddy, he says, I really didn't enjoy that cigar. And then he thought to himself, I really want to concentrate on the cigar. And so he says, I went back and smoked the cigar again with the intention to look at the cigar and to experience the cigar. And it is a great stick. I just wasn't smoking in the right environment.
I completely agree.
And I'll add to that. So for me, there's different cigars that I will smoke in a lounge versus cigars that I smoke out on my boat.
Exactly.
Or sitting out on the patio.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because it's a completely different experience where everything is kind of condensed indoors versus being more outside and everything open.
And
it's
well,
completely
and
different.
all the smoke's blowing away from you. You're not getting any of that. You're only getting partial experience out of the cigar, and you're dead on. You're dead on.
And with that, oftentimes, knowing if you know what you're smoking, maybe you smoke something that is not as complex when you're doing an activity. You don't have to pay attention as much to it. You're still getting the experience.
Exactly.
But something that is maybe like the Principal Commonwealth.
Oh my God.
There are some cigars that just tell you to sit down and shut the fuck up. Like you just want to experience it.
Right.
And it really depends on how you want your experience to be.
Like an Atabey or Byron or a Bandolero.
Absolutely.
Where you want to be more focused on the cigar. You want to be more intentional with the cigar.
For sure.
You don't want to smoke that when you're playing golf or
Mowing
doing
the lawn
something.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And
you want to be intentional. And I'll give you a for instance. So I'm not being a crux shill here.
Yes, you are, but we okay with that.
But one of my favorite cigars to smoke out when I'm out on my boat is the Crux Epicure.
Oh,
or not
beautiful.
the Crux Maduro.
Okay.
The Epicure Maduro. I smoke that out on my boat. That's the first cigar I smoke when we go pull the cover off the boat and we're leaving the marina. I light up a.
You don't have to think about it.
I don't have to think about it, but it's a stronger cigar than what I normally smoke.
Yeah.
And because I'm out in the open, it's not so overpowering.
Right.
Versus when I'm in a lounge or somewhere where there's not as great of ventilation, I just don't enjoy that Maduro as much.
Interesting.
But outside, I love the Epicure Maduro.
Yep. And you know what? I joked with Brandon not too long ago, because probably for the first 50 episodes of Saturday at the Shop, that's what he smoked every morning was the Crux Epicure.
Maduro, yeah. fantastic cigar.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But
it's
but
one
yeah,
of
I can see that.
it's one of the first Maduros that I can say that I actually enjoy
So
because it's not overpowering.
and to your point as well,
No.
a lot of people have a misconception of Maduros. Just
Absolutely.
because it's a dark wrapper doesn't mean that it's going to be spicy or bold.
No.
Sometimes that comes with age or the region of where the plant came from.
Yep.
So definitely try it. And then also know that some blends purposely put maybe a 1/4 inch of Ligero in the foot. So when you get that, you get what's called a pepper bomb, right? It'll open up your senses. It'll taste super peppery. And then after you work through that, it immediately sets the tone for your palate to a smooth creaminess. And that's exactly how the Padrones were for me. And that was before I knew about the composition of the cigar.
Yep.
I was just like, oh, that's rough. And sometimes I
But
would
then
cut
once
it
you
off.
got into it,
It evened out.
Exactly.
And it was
Now,
an awesome
let me
experience.
ask you a question. How is this cigar paired with the old fashioned?
Oh, it's like butter. I absolutely enjoy it.
but
So I'm going to finish up this box
Okay.
with old fashions.
you're not gonna go wrong with that.
No,
I know, no.
So you can taste
And I
the
tell you
age
what,
of it.
that Woolcock has been phenomenal. I mean,
It has.
the caramel it adds to the old fashioned. In fact, funny story. Rhonda did not like old fashions, and we went to Wild Cigar in Burleson.
They have one of the best old fashions I've ever had.
I'm not, and mine does not compare. I'm not even going to try.
No.
And but I ordered an
Have you
old
been there?
fashioned.
No, I need to go there
Yeah.
though.
I ordered an old fashioned.
Did you get a smoked or regular?
I got a regular. And she goes, "What did you order?" I said, "I ordered an old fashioned." She goes, "Well, order me one." And then she starts drinking it and goes, "I don't normally like old fashions, but this is good." And I was like, "Really? I didn't know that." And so, I know she's hit or miss on old fashions, but when I stumbled across this, I had her try one, and she was like, "Oh my God, I like this. This is really good." It's again not as good as Wild, but it was something that she really liked, and I was really proud.
So you want to know something funny about Wild? My dad loves Bloody Marys.
Yes.
I can't stand Bloody Marys
can't either.
because I don't like
Tomato juice.
juice.
Right.
So one afternoon, my dad lives in Fort Worth. We went over to Wild. I'd never been there, so we just went out there to hang out. Me and him and my stepmom went out, have a couple cocktails, have a couple cigars, and just hang out for the afternoon. I got an old fashioned, and he looked at the drink menu and saw that they had a Bloody Mary.
Yep.
My dad loves Bloody Marys. So my dad's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try the Bloody Mary. I was like, dude, it's like 3 o'clock. He's like, yeah, but if it's a good Bloody Mary, you can drink it any time.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, whatevs. So he ordered the Bloody Mary. They bring Joe,
Yep.
the bartender,
Yep.
one of the head bartenders, great guy by the way.
Yes, he is.
Super nice.
They're all
nice.
super
Love
nice out there. And
yes.
Kim is phenomenal out there.
I haven't had a bad experience at Wild with
No.
any of the employees.
No, none.
But Joe made him a Bloody Mary. So he tried the Bloody Mary, and he was sitting there, and at first I thought he didn't like it. And I was like, is something wrong with the Bloody Mary? And he's like, this may be the best Bloody Mary I've ever had.
That's
Wow.
And my dad traveled for many years for work, has had Bloody Marys literally all over the country, and for him to say this is one of the best Bloody Marys I've had
Hats
is
off.
freaking saying something.
That is
That's
saying a
awesome.
lot.
And he's saying that one of the best Bloody Marys he's ever had is at Wild Cigar.
So, shameless plug here. If you're ever in the Fort Worth area, run down to Burleson and go to Wild Cigar Bar, and they are phenomenal. The bar is phenomenal. The cigar selection is phenomenal. And they have Crux
They
there.
absolutely have Crux there.
And they have Principal there.
They have Principal there.
They also have Crux and a lot of other fantastic things. Luciano here, DC here, some fantastic cigars here. At
Oh, yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised with the selection that they had.
Well,
You can thank him for the Crux.
Yeah.
Well, Austin was on the Crux before me because they had Crux at El Dorado.
Yep.
However, not trying to talk
No.
out of sorts.
No, you're good.
But I did turn Austin on to DC.
Okay. Yes.
I was like, I think.
Well, you know what? DC is local.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a cigar lounge in the DFW area,
You've gotta
and
have
you're
DC.
not
Support
carrying DC, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
And they don't require you to have 50 different displays or anything. Carry their core line. What is that? 5 or 6 boxes, and run with it. There's no reason not to do that. And support local.
One of the things that I'll say about DC, and it's one of the things I say about Crux, I've never smoked a DC that I would be uncomfortable recommending to someone else.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
Now,
And there's
I'm
very
gonna
few lines
and
that
I'm gonna
comfortable saying that about.
and I'm going to caveat that with the fact that I have not tried any of their flavored stuff yet.
I've not either.
But their
So
core line
core
stuff
line, yes,
is
they're
phenomenal.
non-flavored.
Their non-flavored stuff is phenomenal.
But the fact that they have different flavor profiles and types for different, types of cigar smokers is fantastic.
Now let me tell you something funny. I've got a coworker in Las Colinas, and there is a liquor store right across the street from our office, and he's buddies with the owner of the cigar lounge or the liquor store. He brought in a small humidor, and he's got Rocky Patel and a couple other deals in there. I told him, I said, I'm going to go down there and talk to Nick's liquor store. I said, and if he wants anything special in this humidor, I got him covered. And the first thing I'm going to throw him on is DC, because they're local. And I told him, I said, what I'm going to do is go in and say, Nick, I'll get you a couple of boxes. If you don't sell them, I'll buy the motherfuckers.
Hands down.
I mean,
I'll put 'em
because
in my humidor.
yeah, because I smoke DC regularly anyway.
I think all three of us do.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And the cool thing is, and this is my little quirk that I really like, are the bands. Like this one's kind of beat up, but a lot of people have different stick lighters. But I bought a cigar, and I can put the cloth band on my lighter.
Yeah. And those
So
are
when you're-
hand woven by
Yes.
those guys.
And when you're with a group of people who have similar lighters, you know which one's yours because
That's awesome.
you've got a band on it.
That's
so
awesome.
it's one of the things that I've done. But this has been an
God
absolute
damn, we're
phenomenal
hour and 20
experience.
minutes, man.
Where's the time going?
It flies when you're having fun with good people.
You know what? And that's what I love about the show is we just kick back and relax and chat and have fun. And the time flies, and we have such great guests like Kevin. And thank God I got a phenomenal co-host with Dustin.
Trying to fill some big shoes.
Rhonda's got some very...
Rhonda's a heavy
No,
hitter.
her shoes aren't really big, but
No, she got tiny feet, but
she got tiny feet.
a big presence.
She does.
It's all her purple.
Rhonda has more presence than I think the three of us put together.
That's the only reason why she's on the show.
It's such an upgrade over previous.
Yeah, but we had a very different show back then.
Absolutely.
And and
I'm
I'm
not
not
saying
gonna
anything bad.
No, and I'm
it's
not-
just how much I like Rhonda.
and I'm not gonna say anything that I have not said out in public. But I knew Rhonda was not going to do the research for the cigar company spotlights, and I reformatted the show to do just guests every week. And I think I would like to do the cigar company spotlight again, but I think I need to do that and this because this is more of the this is the Tales from the Lounge whole thing. I created the whole thing for people to come in, talk about their cigar lounge experiences, their stories, and this is what the show should be. But the cigar company spotlight was phenomenal. It really educated a lot of people on companies that were not only new, but 4th and 5th generation cigar blender / companies that were just phenomenal. So, and talking about the symbolism behind the labels and and the creation of the cigars was
That's
a
such
unique thing.
That's such a science beyond the cigar itself.
It is.
When you start talking about the labels, the names, you could spend hours and hours.
Except for
talking
Darren
about
Chaffee.
that. Darren's his own guy.
Darren's his own guy, and I'm going to tell this, and I hope Darren sees it. I love Darren to death, but I asked him one time what was the symbolism beside some of the logos and stuff like that. He goes, I got it from other people. He says somebody suggested something. The entire Aviator line. He said he was trying to think of what to name it, and a buddy of his saw an Aviator poster on his wall and says, name it Aviator. And I'm responsible for the Time to Burn. We were sitting at Industrial for a special event, and he was talking about doing the Time to Burn. He had all these antique watch facings he wanted to use on the bands. And I said, what are you going to call it? He goes, I haven't decided yet. And so he's already doing the Money to Burn. And so I told him, I said, Time to Burn. And 6 months later, he sends me a picture of the box, Time to Burn. I went, oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hopefully you got a little something out of that.
I didn't get anything out of it.
Maybe a couple cigars.
I got bragging rights is all I got.
Wonderful story for sure.
But
You got a story.
I got a story.
That's what it's all about.
But, I love Darren to death. He's such a great guy.
Having adventures.
Such an
stories.
interesting guy.
Yeah.
He is.
Very much so. I definitely want to take the girl to a trip in Nashville, say hi to him and some other friends. Maggie
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Preston,
Absolutely.
And see that. And it's fascinating because we actually met at a cigar lounge after work one time. And then she went on the trip. And for my birthday, she got me this lovely shirt, Tap That Ash. So I definitely wanted to shout that out. Maybe one of these days I'll get a Tales from the Lounge shirt.
I've got one for you. I got one for you, too.
Yeah, let me know.
So I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. I know we went a little long tonight, but hell, I'd keep going if I thought I could get away with it.
We didn't even get into anything interesting.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
we
we
did all kinds of
did.
interesting shit.
You're
And I cussed like a motherfucker on here. So,
And I've been relatively PG-13, which is shocking
weird.
thing.
I expected you to go off on a tangent at least twice.
So did everyone else.
I know. I want to thank Kevin. I want to thank Dustin for being here tonight. I want to thank all of y'all for showing up tonight. And you guys have a great week, and we will see you next week. Again, we will be here at Viso Cigar Lounge. Come check the place out. Custer and 380 and McKinney. And come in and say hi to everybody. Yes, near the Walmart. And have a great night.
Have a good one.